What's up, Student Reporting Labs? I'm Jordan Vesey, your SRL mentor, and today we're going to talk about an element of filmmaking that's crucial to proper storytelling: B-roll. Here are the 5 things that you need to know about B-roll. Number 1, you need it. No, seriously, don't be fooled by its name. Even if you think you don't need B-roll, you do. B-roll should never be a low priority. In fact, it should be thought of as the action of your story. Think of it like this. If your voiceover tells you the story, your B-roll shows you the story. Without it, you pretty much just have a bunch of talking heads, which is boring. So what is B-roll? Well, in television or film production, B-roll is the supplemental footage that's intercut with the main shot. It gets its name from the days of film, where there used to literally be a roll of film with the main shots on it labeled A-roll, and then another roll of film with all the cutaways, action, visuals, and exterior shots on it labeled B-roll. Take a look at this piece on Clark Park in Detroit. The A-roll is the interview with Ziggy Gonzalez. The B-roll is all the other footage you see: kids playing baseball, hopscotch, and shots of the park itself. In broadcast news, B-roll is what makes you feel like you're there with the person being interviewed. B-roll can sometimes be the most compelling aspect of your news story. For example, look at this story that Alonzo and Tracy Morning High School produced on the ice cream shop Chillin'. The B-roll of the nitrogen hitting the ice cream pulls the audience in, while visually illustrating the soundbite.
Nitrogen is just an element that exists in the atmosphere. Naturally, it's in the air, makes up about 78% of the air we breathe. We use it in its liquid form, so it's about -321 degrees Fahrenheit.
You never want to show a shot of someone talking on camera for more than 5 to 10 seconds, because audiences have short attention spans. Whenever possible, write your script in a way that incorporates good B-roll. Another reason you need B-roll is because it allows you flexibility during the editing process. You can shorten or splice sound bites together without getting a distracting jump cut. Number 2, sequences. Whenever possible, try to build a sequence of B-roll. A sequence involves a minimum of 3 shots of varying types, like a close-up shot, a medium shot, and a wide shot. Sequences are how you set up and introduce a person who the audience will hear a soundbite from.
Adeline Baxter is a DC resident who enjoys playing tennis. On the weekends, she comes to the Jenny Dean Park in Shirlington to practice her dribble and her forehand ground stroke.
I really like tennis because unlike some other sports where you're kind of waiting for things to happen, you're always running around and you're always working up a sweat.
You should always shoot B-roll of any person you interview, even if you don't end up using it. Sequences are also how you convey action in your story. Look at this story about parkour. These series of wide, medium, and tight shots build sequential edits and visually pull your audience into the world of parkour. We can see the action play out in front of us. Remember, sequences don't have to follow a particular pattern, but they do have to tell a story in sequential order. Each time you are in the field, think about what the action is that you're trying to capture, and then shoot a minimum of 3 shots of that scene. B-roll can also be a great way to pepper in awesome audio to your story. If you see B-roll, you want to hear B-roll, because it adds audio-visual texture to your story. When shooting B-roll, you should always be on the lookout for cool sounds that you can capture. Number 3, the rule of 180. The rule of 180 imagines that there is an invisible line of action drawn between a subject and the person that they are interacting with, or an imaginary straight line that's drawn along a path that a subject is moving on. Check out this dialogue scene. Anita and I are talking to one another, with me facing camera right and Anita facing camera left. The camera will always stay on one side of that axis, and the subjects will always stay on the other. If the camera remains on one side of this line, the spatial relationship between the 2 characters remains consistent from shot to shot. Another example is this action scene. Say I'm moving towards an object like the Lincoln Memorial. During this shot of B-roll, the line of direction applies to my path on the way to the memorial, according to my eye line. If I'm walking in a leftward direction and am to be picked up by another camera, I must exit the first shot on frame left and enter the next shot frame right. If I leave the right side of the frame in one shot, I should enter from the left side of the frame in the next shot. Leaving from the right and entering from the right creates a similar sense of disorientation. This brings me to the 4th thing that you need to know about B-roll, which is the importance of anticipation.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
When we are filming action or any type of B-roll that captures movement, instead of trying to follow the action, we always want to anticipate it.
For example, if I want to capture these moving cars, I don't want to move my tripod or follow them with the camera through a pan. It's best to set up my shot and then let the cars move in and out of frame.
This way your footage will remain clear and concise. you'll be able to easily cut action shots together that are not shaky or disorienting. This rule requires patience and sometimes means that you're going to be waiting for a while to capture what you need. Last but not least, angles. The last thing you need to know about B-roll is that you should try to shoot as many angles as possible to mix up your shot options. It's important to be able to have different types of shots to cut away to during your editing. So when you're in the field, think about shots like low-angle shots, ground shots, close-up shots of a person's features or their hands, over-the-shoulder shots, and exterior shots. Don't forget to be creative. Each shot should be held for a minimum of 10 seconds. Remember, once your camera's locked down, shoot a minimum of 3 shots and then move. There you go. Those are the 5 things that you now know about B-roll.